I could imagine coming to the court, bro. And I'm talking about gassing up your daughter in the car. Y'all got Rocky playing. I'm talking about everything blasting, everything lit, everything good. I'm talking about you got the new wristbands, everything. She laced up, spat the ankle, she had a twisted the ankle earlier that week, but you got her, Then you get there. And then, just like in the movies, all the girls are standing up, lined up, ready to walk in. And next thing you know, you see the team that's supposed to come in. They come out the bus, and then the shadow just takes over the girls like this. And the parents are like, what? Why is there a storm out? No, there's no thunder. There's no lightning. That's just those big-ass dudes walking out the bus because the bus is when these guys get out the bus. And now you see them lined up, looking like the Czechoslovakian hockey team, ready to freaking take your daughters out. Tis I, just Henry the original, the one, the only, the always ostentatious. Is that a good one? I think
ostentatious. So. We're gonna rock with it.
We'll keep going. But nonetheless, we are here yet again with another installment of the Umpteenth View. And I'm here with my good cousin.
Is warm-ups. How you create a name that you sometimes gotta struggle with?
I thought you were just imitating the
Wiz Reads Wise in the Flesh. Is Wise for short. Your village idiot. If you didn't know, what you got for us today, man?
From Tasmania.
Straight from Tasmania.
Devil for a moment.
100%. Speaking of Tasmanian Devil, I haven't yet to see him recreate it.
They should have. They did. How many seasons did they do with Tasmania? Come to Tasmania. You remember that show?
No,
you've never seen that. Right after it was like Tiny Toons.
I probably could have when he was a baby.
No, he was basically teenager, so to speak, and he had his dad, and his dad would talk to him like this.
Huh?
He had to make. It was. I think it might have been the same guy that did the was it Foghorn, the giant chicken in Looney Tunes, but nonetheless.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's random thoughts.
Those that know about Tasmania, go ahead and put that in the comments.
I'm with Tasmania.
It's lit.
I wonder. Yeah, I don't even think they put him in New Space Jam, did they?
No. Well, no, I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. I'm not gonna watch it, but
hey, I was actually not boycotting.
Y'all let me know. I ain't boycotting nothing. I'm not a fan of movies where traditionally 2D and you make them 3D. It literally steals the essence from it. There's beauty in 2D animation that 3D animation cannot capture. Period. Stop it, bro. Hollywood, I'm talking to you. But y'all don't care. Y'all getting y'all money. Anyway, I digress. What you got for us today, man?
No worries, man. You better stand your ground. Stay on your square, they say. Nonetheless, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and have a nice reaction video. So we're gonna actually play this like we did last time, and then we're gonna do our normal thing and come back and speak on it.
Speak on it.
And it's going to be grand.
Let them know.
It's going to be marvelous. So let's go ahead and introduce this. So the name of the clip is Absolutely Outrageous. This is why I said it that way. All male netball team beats girls in state tournament. Now, this is definitely not in America, but nonetheless, it brings a ring to the ear that we must acknowledge. Was that poetic enough?
You Gucci.
All right, cool.
I appreciate it.
Just making sure.
All us literary fans out there, yeah, I appreciate it.
See what I mean?
Yeah, you good.
So
and the dance too. In the dance too.
Yes. I'm always good with the top heavy dancing. You know what I'm saying? Every time I sit down, I'm good. But when I get on my 2 feet, yeah, we getting tired real quick. We get about 4, maybe 5 songs, and then I'm like, all right, I'm juked out. I'm done. Juke City. You know what it is, Tampa. Nonetheless, let's keep it rolling. So, Wiz, how we gonna do this? You gonna do we just say and segue and then we go or what?
We can do it. That's what you want. If you want to do, put the on the screen on with it. Yeah, we can make it work.
Or we could do the whoa and do something like that. No?
The what?
The whoa.
Yeah.
Throw it up with the kids.
I'm a cave devil.
Yeah, super whoa. I'm like, that's a lot of whoa.
What we gonna do? We gonna pop that bit up on the screen, and it's gonna go like that
at the same time.
At the same time, like literally in a couple seconds now. Yeah, you good?
We high tech today. Over 30 goals
Bro, every match, every time they tried this. Apologize for what?
The outrage from the parents.
Who set this up? You can't see it. You can't be it. Hold on, pause the video.
Go ahead.
So, the Catherine woman, did she suggest like? So she says, all right, you give us 12 months to make an adjustment, and then we try to do it again.
She's kind of being facetious, but yeah, she's basically is like, if we try it one way as far as with men, as far as the men gathering their teams and stuff like that, and then we try it again as far as the men doing it, and as opposed to unified. I don't think she's really meaning. Like, I don't think she's genuine. I think she's more like,
oh, okay. Because if it was in the notion where she's like, all right, we got demolished. We're going to take these 12 months, review the drawing board, try to create a strategy to capitalize and try to beat it. Then I was like, all right, I can respect that.
This whole thing is terrible. The reason I say that is mainly because there's an actual literal men's league. It's just not as glamorized or popular where they're from. So, but then there's an extension to it on that I have that this one doesn't have, that it was showing the gentleman that is the spokesman, probably the coach leader, you know, that
of
guy
the organization.
Yeah. So he seems the type that wants to make sure he's included. Yeah. So no worries.
Of course.
We ain't looking at that. So that was rather interesting, to say the least. Would you like to go first?
Because you introduced the video, I think it's only natural that you explain what interests you into bringing it up. Why is it tickling your fancy? Okay. So on and so forth. So, because I got questions, but we're gonna hold on.
First and foremost, I'm a firm believer in doing what you want. Any and everybody, if you and your government allow you to do what you want, do it. You know, as long as it doesn't interfere with me and mine being my children. You know, so if it directly affects them, if there's some way I can work around it, I'm gonna find that way. 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I'll find that way to work around it. Mainly because I don't care enough to really be all like up in arms to oppose it. So that's one. It caught my interest mainly because there is a taboo to the conversation when it comes to transgender, gay, lesbian, heterosexual, whatever in between.
Hold on, not to cut you off. I don't understand why when folks talk about transgenderism, why homosexuals and lesbians, why they gotta come up? They're not the same thing. Sexuality and genderism, they try to group them together to make them seem that they're the same marginalized, but I don't think they're the same thing, and nothing I read seemed to suggest they are the same thing.
When I use that in a group manner, it's more along the lines of
the alphabet them,
how their narrative is basically similar, especially taking away bit by bit little pieces from the civil rights movement, things of that nature, to where I just happen to categorize it like that.
I got you. Well, I think that's fair because they seem to clump themselves together, and that bothers me.
Even Dave Chappelle. We're
not gonna talk about that. I haven't seen it. together. The car scene. The car scene is good. The car scene is really good.
Seen The Closer?
We're
not gonna go there. I'm not gonna.
I want to watch it. Stay tuned. We will react to that.
We'll talk about that. Snuff channel, so I'm not
snuff.
What?
What's
you
that
haven't
mean?
seen The Closer? You never seen? You know what a snuff film is?
Nah.
Like where they off somebody. Yeah, it was a joke, bro. It was kind of they got it.
I hope so, guys. I don't know.
I wouldn't kill you, man.
I'm in the
family.
I'm in the cave right now.
You know what I'm saying? Plus, my cousin would, man.
Safe.
I'm just joking. That's all I'm saying.
Go miss it.
But dang, you gotta watch The
sorry,
Closer, bro.
I was in the process.
He even
bro.
said he was gonna watch.
I did. I got busy. Like
Netflix.
I told you, when I go to the gym, I'll be in a 2-3 hours. My wife hates me for it, but I love it.
While you're in the gym, I promise you, you'll forget your.
I was listening to James Baldwin's audiobook because he was a gay rights activist.
Okay.
And he's also very proficient when it comes to Black American literacy. So I never really read his work, so I was in there just vibing out to yeah. So
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to continue,
I apologize.
It drew my fancy as well because of a lot of conversations I've heard from feminists and new feminists, old feminists, or should I say modern feminists, and the two phases before
First and second wave.
I've listened to it all. I mean, as with any and everything, basically, there's certain things that you can always find to agree with. There's certain things you're always going to find to disagree with, just because that's the human nature. It's just that when they're, and I'm not even saying that the newscast or the young lady that was the correspondent, for the women's athletics
group. I guess.
I'm not opposed to that, or the conversations that they may have. But sometimes when you're, when you come across as obligated in certain ways, or what was the word? Entitled, yeah. See, we were bringing that up from last episode. This entitlement just gives you this way of, it's like a swag though, and then she's on there talking like with the greatest of disgust for the fact that these men found a way to come in to your stronghold that you thought you had ironclad and beat the living tar out of your little girl.
Oh, no.
I want the world to see all of these instances, because it's not to be hidden. It's not to be shunned, but it's not to be hidden either. So my thing is I thought this was like, if Tekashi 6ix9ine could be a team, if a troll could be a team, they trolled the entire bejesus out of this league. I'm trying to be PG-13,
I got you. I appreciate it.
I was in the Navy, so I know how to curse. But I'm just saying, like, it was amazing to see this happen. Then look, do you see the picture of them?
Yeah.
They were so joyous with those 5 o'clock shadows at 3 o'clock.
5 o'clock shadows at 3 o'clock.
This is supposed to be under 18. But you're bearded like this. This is ridiculous. I'm talking about full beard, not nothing lying up little fuzz, peach fuzz. No, full beards. It was ridiculous. And I'm like, you guys are developed. These guys are huge. Like, what do you need?
So, for context, ayo, because I need that in my life. If I'm understanding this correctly, right? If I'm under, that's gonna be my thing. Y'all just say, I'm gonna do it every time.
Hey,
context is always important, because I've seen it sells the book. It sells the narrative.
Okay.
If you take out the context, you can get a bunch of propaganda.
Right.
Most people don't pay attention to it. Anywho, right? So if I'm understanding this correctly, it was primarily a women's league.
Yes.
Okay. And that's where the popular was. But men played the sport.
The tournament's primarily a women's tournament.
Okay.
They just like she said, they go out, get the sponsors, they get the teams, they organize everything, they put in the work, and they've been doing it for years. That's been their thing. And
so a men team decided to join it.
A men's team.
Just one
team.
And they obliterate the best team, or one of the best?
No, every team.
Everyone.
They did not lose.
So this... And if that's the case, I would be upset as her.
They won in flamboyant fashion.
Yeah, see, now that's a problem.
Let me not go there. But yes, it was crazy.
Yeah, I think I'm a side with Shorty. With the woman, I apologize.
I'll give it 80%. There's a certain part of it that I'm just like,
I'm confused on the phrase. She said men entitlement.
Yeah.
If you ran an organization, how did they get there?
How are you using male entitlement in a transgender loophole? That doesn't make sense.
Hey, that's a good question. You
cannot do that. That doesn't make sense. So that's why I'm saying I'm 80% with the lady. But I'm like, there's some of the things
a significant, and even they talk about the Olympic stuff that if I'm all for transgender groups and communities getting that publication, that promotion, but you got to organize a sport yourself. You can't try to bring it to biologically or what they call cisgender individuals. You can't bring that to them because there is a biological difference, which most of the world views and accepts and used to describe men and women. This is a prime example of that. I love watching the WNBA as well as the NBA, but there are distinct differences between the games. Right. I think Brittany Griner broke the record like 2 days ago. She dunked. She was the first woman to dunk in the WNBA. Ja Morant dunks for fun.
I thought it was Lisa Leslie. Lisa Leslie wasn't the first?
No, her name was Brittany Griner. She plays for the Mercury. Lisa Leslie have dunked before. Women have dunked before.
But in the game.
But when we're talking about the consistency and how often, how aggressive it is, there's no way. Men do it more because we have an athletic difference. There's a biological difference in muscle structure. There's a biological difference in how muscles process. And when women want to become stronger, the first thing they do is take testosterone. So there is a difference in when we're talking about genderism and the notion of behaviors. I prescribe to that, and emphasis on the word prescribe, because oftentimes you hear gendered identities versus I guess normal, right? The majority of individuals, because it is a marginalized, it is small. The majority of individuals refer to gendered in a descriptive way to refer to sex, right? But genderism, folks who behind it, they will argue they're talking about prescription, which means that this definition is often arbitrary.
That's what I feel.
Right, and so that they are entitled to that. They are technically correct. But most of the world doesn't speak in prescriptions. Most of the world speaks in descriptions. Correct. That's how literally became a thing, and that's a perfect example. So this here, and backtrack a little bit. Why I say I accept that the notion of transgenderism, because I'm a big fan of keeping words as they were originally used. Okay. Even because most words are changing because people don't know. So literally as an example, smart, intelligence, wisdom, they all originally meant 3 different things, but generally people they use them synonymously. Right. So
it's to be easier.
It's just how it goes. Like I mean, they got a whole language of ebonics, which is produced off ignorance. And that's the beauty of language in itself. It's
produced off of laziness.
Whatever you want to call it.
I give you ignorance a little bit, but laziness is the real crux of that, man. Because
languages happen.
Because, all right, I'm just going to take the time to just use it. Conversate. Get rid of it. It's not, it's to converse or to have a conversation. Please. It's not conversate. I just
my
had
favorite
that.
one, my new favorite one is talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. I don't know what rapper said. Talk to me nicely is what they were trying to say.
Thank you.
Talk to me nice. You see it oftentimes with B-Way.
Got it.
That's my new favorite one. But that it just goes to show, bro. Like we don't really. Most of the world isn't paying attention to prescriptions, right? And I think that's what the transgender community is often finding. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. I think that's where most of the transgender individuals, like they lose they functions, right? Because they're trying to talk to people who don't speak as they're trying to. But then you get the folks who are okay with the prescription of words. They say it's all right. This video shows that it's not necessarily it's hard to be equal in a realm where you just
bruh. How about this?
Nature speaks in his own way.
Let's just be frank. I'll be Frank, you be Roy.
Okay. I'll be Frank, you be Roy. You Frank? Are you Frank from Dead Rising or you Frank Lucas?
I'm Frank and Sense, man. Okay. I'm spicy.
Okay. I got you.
No, what happened is, all right, what was my thought? You messed me up now. So, as far as my concern with the situation, I am, all right. I don't want to say the cynic, but just like that, that part of you just like that you can find the humor and everything. That's that part of you that was like, well, way to go, guys. I mean, you found a way to go ahead and do. I mean, this is your moment in life. This is where you can ride on top of the world because apparently you may not have done as well in the men's league. But nonetheless, that's not my judgment. The next thing is, especially when using a transgender loophole and you all have no effeminate female features at all.
What does that even mean?
They look like real butch men. Like they look like grown men. They didn't look like they were trying to change over and say that, and show the world that I am considering myself not a man, woman, or any transition
into the different sex. They're in. I got you.
They're with So I'm just trying to see. I wanted to do more research on it, but I just got it like today.
It just tickled your fence and you had to speak
and I said
on.
I just got to share.
That's raw.
It's just that I want to find out what was said to whom, just like you asked earlier, like
the context
who made this decision. Like,
the context
who said
for sure.
that, what, based on inclusion, what was said in the letter? Because people write letters.
Facts.
I made a letter. Facts. And then write that letter and send it, and somebody got the letter and somebody's responding to this letter because they're petitioning to be accepted, to be admitted. And next thing you know, they got admission. And now everyone is upset, especially the parents of these young ladies that are just sitting there embarrassed. Like, spent all this money to see my daughter come on this field, on this court, and get smashed by a bunch of blokes. I love it.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Oh my God.
I love it. Like, it's comedy. That is sheer comedy. The whole thing. And there was another one. Shout out to Poor Man's Podcast.
Poor Man's Podcast. I love it.
He does the HBO special. He said, hook a brother up, where you got to do the subscribe and do the notification and all that stuff. I just want you to comment. You know what I'm saying? All that other subscriptions and stuff, you can do that as well.
Just start the conversation.
I want to start this conversation. Facts. Because I don't want to be insensitive because I'm trying, and I don't want to be overly sensitive because I want to do the balance thing that everybody's telling me that we're supposed to have, right? Because
balance is important.
Because it's not, if it's too much one way or the other, then guess what? That's an imbalance in control.
Yep.
And now if someone is out for the imbalance in control, which is the way it seems to me sometimes, then that is wrong. So then you have to pull back from that then. We have to shift the balance of power again. We have to make sure that masculinity, or not even masculinity, just individuality or acceptance, because if you're preaching acceptance and empathy, you must give acceptance and empathy and respect and dignity as well, because it's not a one-way street. It goes both ways. Everyone. I've met plenty of transgender. I've met plenty of gay, straight, whomever you are, straight people that are ridiculously weird. Like, why are you that way? Okay, I still got to accept you that way. I'm at the gas station. My man's is back there. I'm talking about pentagrammed up, black nail polish. Hey, that's what's up. And I said, God bless you. And he's like, I don't believe in God. or something. No. He said, you sure you want to say that to me or something like that? What? And I was like, why wouldn't I say it to you? He was like, because I'm a Satanist. I'm just like, no, God bless you. Then I walked off. I just left it at that. Because here's my thing. It seemed as though he was pulling and stretching for a conversation so that he can get his little day in the shine, you know. And I'm like, I'm not sacrificing my dignity and my good name for you right now, sir, because I've taken and spoken to an atheist before and have them question their own reasoning, but that's because he came to me and asked me for my opinion or my stance. It wasn't me imposing on him. Because if I imposed on him, then guess what? Defense mechanisms shut down. And guess what? You get nothing. And I've learned that in my old age as well.
So do you think the organizer of the males team impose this inclusion upon that female organization? Or?
Absolutely. Yes.
And
that is why I said it was trolling.
The reason for that was
best ever.
Was the transgender that argument? That was his reason for doing so?
It had to be because that's the loophole they're using. It had to be. Because that's the inclusion is what they're using. As in, we identify as, and that's what I want to see the letter. I want to read the letter because the email, if it were, whatever, everybody emails getting
trying to get a whole sense of things. So what happens if this person wrote the letter and then most of the female athletes was like, yeah, we're fine with that. What happens if that's the case? Is that still a good thing if they fine with that and then they came in and let this male team rip them apart?
So you're saying male team, hey guys, we want to play with you guys.
Right.
Girls are like, hey girls, y'all want to let them in?
Right.
You think it's cool? Everybody good? We got 6 yeses, 3 no's.
Right.
Now 3 no's, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Da-da-da-da-da. All right.
Like ran like a democratic structure.
We got 9 yeses. Yeah. Bang, bang, bang. Next thing you know, they in there. And if that's the case, they openly signed up for this, then by all means, you got what you kind of signed up for, literally. But if you came in with a different mentality or a different expectation, and then this is now imposed upon you, and you walk up to, I could imagine coming to the court, bro. And I'm talking about gassing up your daughter in the car. Y'all got Rocky playing. I'm talking about everything blasting, everything lit, everything good. I'm talking about you got the new wristbands, everything. She laced up, spat the ankle, she had a twisted the ankle earlier that week, but you got her, Then you get there. And then, just like in the movies, all the girls are standing up, lined up, ready to walk in. And next thing you know, you see the team that's supposed to come in. They come out the bus, and then the shadow just takes over the girls like this. And the parents are like, what? Why is there a storm out? No, there's no thunder. There's no lightning. That's just those big ass dudes walking out the bus because the bus is when these guys get out the bus. And now, you see them lined up looking like the Czechoslovakian hockey team ready to freaking take your daughters out. They block everything. They steal every pass. They are practically dunking on your daughter.
Sheesh.
In netball.
Swap scenario. So what happens if the men joined the team? They joined the league and the women just obliterated them? What would your thoughts be about that?
Oh, they would be the laughing stock for, dude, Michael Jordan crying meme would be obsolete. I'd have these guys everywhere. And matter of fact, if they were not even voted in, imposed their way in, and still got beat up by themselves, they got beat up. Nah, dog, you're done.
That's very interesting.
You're done. We're taking all your cards, sir. We're ripping them all up. They're gone.
That video is indeed interesting.
It's layered, bro.
Because if you've seen this, you've seen, I think it was a transgender woman fights against a natural woman, beats the brakes off of her.
We're talking about MMA.
Yeah,
yes.
You're constantly seeing these examples. If you've seen it with transgender woman, became she became wrestled against women in high school and she won a title, right? And you're constantly seeing examples of this, and so the politically correct would say, oh, she deserved it, but then the normatives of cisgender folks would be like, are you joking?
Right.
And we constantly get into these railroads. We're constantly seeing examples of biology beating ideology, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna respond by saying confusion is commonplace now.
I don't know if I adhere to that notion, if it's confusion, because it seems that they're pretty resolute in the reasons they choose to.
I'll bring you a wonderful example. This is my go-to trans inclusion story. I was watching a documentary, I think it was on YouTube, where they were talking to children basically about transgender. But it was
why are they talking to babies.
It was like a PG. It was a PG version of it. It was basically talking about guys dressing like girls, girls dressing like boys, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the bathroom situation, bathroom question. So let's ask the kid.
I'm not a fan of that.
Hey, what do you think they should do? We've got a male bathroom, we got the female bathroom, but this person dresses like the other. All the other kids are laughing, giggling, not really like, just like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is beyond me. So I'm like, let's play with the toys. Let's go over there. My nails, my fingers, whatever, my pigtails. The one boy looks back and says, why not make a third bathroom? Like cold. Like a kid. This is a kid. This is a child, 7. Couldn't be over 8. I'm talking about Jimmy just had the hair swoop like this. You know how they do it? It was.
He said swoop like this. In my brain, I immediately thought.
But they try to hold their head like this. I thought that was an annoying thing. Like, why would you comb your hair all over here? And then another dude I saw, his hair was long like that. He combed from here, and then it goes over here. So it's like a bang, continual waterfall thing. So it goes all the way over here, so he has to walk like this so his right eye can see. And I'm like, that's a waste of neck.
His right eye
like your neck, you got a constant crick in your neck.
They do be tilting their head to the side so they make sure they see you correctly. That is definitely a thing.
Dude, just put a hat on. We'll call it a day. Oh my god. No, but nonetheless, this was fun.
That's the question, bro. Like, and it's and I'm trying to be cognizant of what I say.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to offend people, but it's almost inevitable at this point because we're talking about something that
I would say if you give the effort, I think that they'll give you credit for it. Because you're trying.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Like
it's not like we have a transgender panel of, experts.
Right.
Been,
I would love it.
And be able to, hey, feed me how to speak correctly, how to make sure that I'm.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't think there's such thing as speaking correctly.
I apologize for that term. How to make sure that I am including and not excluding, or making sure that my words are not offending, so that I'm.
It's not even about that. It's just making it see that they understand that I'm trying to view their perspective.
Well, you could do that without asking them. I just said that.
But the only way that I think to fundamentally do so is I'm a big person of research, right?
Heard it.
Because remember when J.K. Rowling went under the bus, people were attacking her because she was like, I'm just not understanding this. She couldn't process what they were talking about as a woman who's like, I literally have to carry children, bro. Y'all ain't got to do that. So how are you? It's not funny. It's not.
Oh, but I had to.
Yeah, and they came at her. But I know women feel the same. I literally know women who feel the same, educated and uneducated. As disrespectful as they may sound, they just institutionalized and non-institutionalized. Let's just go with that. But it's like 13th grade. I've heard it plenty of times, and even when men you come into, it's like, all right, well, you getting demolished going against the opposite sex, and then the opposite sex tries to play a transgender. The trans man tries to go into a male dominated realm. The results are astonishingly bad, right? So it's one of those things where if is it delusion? Because clearly you have to have this third bathroom, as little dude was talking about.
I gotta prove my point.
It's you getting beat up for what?
Prove my point.
But we do see this discussion, these type of events have been going on for quite a while. Joan of Arc, Mulan, but if I'm correct, they were killed. It's laughing, y'all. You commit somebody bad, but we constantly see it, man. This notion. Survived. This ain't no. I was about to say. We constantly see it, and every day I read something where it's talking about this. And one of the biggest things I often know that experts in intelligence will try to, or intellectuals who are trans idealists and advocates, they will try to bunch them together with homosexuals, lesbians, and I was like, you can't do that.
But here's my thing on that too. it's just difficult to not differentiate, but it's difficult to separate the conversation mainly because of what I said before. It's just the way it's said is similar, and it's almost like the same platform is used for it. Because of the fact you got LGBTQ plus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I really just call it alphabet them. Like I'm just not trying to keep it.
That is offensive.
I don't understand why.
You can't call it alphabet the alphabet people.
If you can call the LAPD, CPD, all the alphabet boys, I'm rocking with alphabet them. And
this is the point between offense and effort that I was just mentioning. If you are saying on purpose,
alphabet
messing it up.
I'm not messing it up.
If you saying a spiteful term,
I've never heard that term before.
Let me say it. Let me not do that.
Because they keep adding. I used to say LGBTQT, and then they added plus A M F O, a bunch of other letters. Of them. Yeah, exactly.
But it's LGBTQ plus. If you say it just like that, which is the way they write it, is the way that the media writes it, is the way that it's on YouTube, is the way everywhere. That shows that you're all right. You know what? I am not understanding what you're going through, but I can speak to it the way you prefer it spoken to. How about that?
I think that's interesting because if my name was Bob, 2 days later I'll call myself Joe. 3 days later I'll call myself Philip. 4 days later I'll call myself Alexander. I wouldn't expect you to remember what all my names were.
No, I'd call you bro.
Why? You're grouping it together. You're generalizing so you have a better mnemonic device of recognizing that individual and that community. Therefore, if I'm calling the LGBTQ plus and letters afterwards and the signs and whatever the case may be, I'm still recognizing your group. I'm not referring to your group or generalizing it with this marginalized group, that marginalized group. I'm not calling Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, or Dominicans, Puerto Ricans. I'm still recognizing them. All I'm doing is calling the alphabet them because your name refers to a lot of, because their names, the community, right? What they choose to refer to themselves is a bunch of letters, as well as most of them refer to themselves as, well, I say most of the ones I've encountered refers to them with them active pronouns as them, right? So I'm still recognizing them.
So now let me jump in.
But now, hold on.
Okay.
But now if they came out and it was like, I don't appreciate that term, I would ask for your reasons why, and I would consider that. But there still has to be a conversation there, right? Because it's to me, it's no different as me to say, hey, black man, what's good? I'm not going to take offense to you calling me a black man, especially because I identify as a black man.
Okay.
Or they say, hey, American. I'm not going to take offense to that. Why? Because I identify. I'm telling you to call me that, right? So, but if there's a trans individual in the group, or a person who sides with them or is an advocate for them who says, I don't like offense for that, I would use that term still in general basis. But when I come and I address that person, I would call him, her, them, they, it, whatever they choose to be called. So the respect is still there.
Okay.
And that's why I just don't. I've never heard the term alphabet them used derogatory. I've never heard it before. It's just something I just regularly call it. If it's being used derogatorily by a group,
it's because
that's a different case.
The plus is including the symbols that they have as well, because they don't just identify as letters.
More stuff.
They don't just identify as letters. It's symbols. There's so many different variations. There's new words being created.
How are you therefore with something that's constantly changing?
That is okay. That is the end that I refuse to go to. My effort comes in and leaving it at LGBTQ plus.
Wait.
Because if I can respectfully say LGBTQ plus and leave it at that, that should be suffice. And that should be the point where I'm like, all right, now anything you try to come at me about after that, that's when I can get a little irritated. And that's what I mean as far as the conversation when it comes to speaking to such. Because I would want them to, because I've been spoken to as though I was a gay dude before. Like they were just like, man, you gotta be gay. I was like, because I don't want you? Are you serious?
Wait, what? Oh, you talking when girls do that?
Girls get
they did.
Women have done that to me. It's happened twice. Then I've had a weird life. You stick around, guys. You hear a bunch of stories.
I don't think that's just with you. Women have done. I've seen that before as well.
Oh yeah.
But again, like it's one of those things where I think what you're doing.
I'm just speaking to the effort. Because of the fact that the effort has to be genuine for you as a person and the character that you've chosen for yourself to be able to say, you know what, I am not disingenuous in what I'm saying behind the term that I've chosen at that present juncture. If I start off, hey, man, the alphabet people, man, the LGBT, all of that, and it sounds offensive already. So therefore, let's go ahead and take a step back. All right, I am an intellectual person. I'm smart. I have read. I'm well read, and I'll be able to say, you know what? This is where even that conglomerate of people have said this is our safe line. Boom. LGBTQ plus. Boom. Thank you. That's all I need.
What conglomerate of individuals have said that? Because to me, in my brain,
are we talking about like the drag shows that we have, the commercials that we have now with LGBTQ? We've got YouTube channels pretty much devoted to it. We've got all kinds of content everywhere.
I don't know nothing about that. I've literally get paid to watch TV, and so I don't see all them saying, okay, we're an advocate and we're called LGBTQ. I've never seen that.
I've seen the debates.
I have in my readings seen them adding new symbols, letters, and stuff.
Yeah.
But to counter that, right? Because if you said I'm only gonna call them LGBTQ plus,
right?
Anything after that, I'm not calling them.
Well, because the plus is including it all, and they've even said that that's an included point. That's what I'm saying.
If they said that, then sure.
That's what I'm.
But
I wouldn't base it off of just me. I would just keep my mouth shut. I would just keep my mouth completely shut about the whole thing. If I was, that's me being safe.
This should not be a thing. It should not be regardless of being
that's
safe.
Idealistic.
It's literally recognizing them as a community. I think that's what they most. And if you're grouping them in a group that's constantly changing, it's not worth the headache trying to sit there and try to guess all of it. But in the same one, you could argue he's not making an effort to call us the rest of our symbols, but he knows they're there. They can just be as definitive of that as well.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is it wrong to consider them a them as opposed to an us, as in a people, a human people?
They are just people.
Different sects of that one conglomerate of people. I'm not saying that as far as like me saying that's how I believe. I just wanted to present the argument.
It's a good question, but that's it. When I'm speaking, I refer to groups most of the time as them.
Got it.
So if I'm talking about Black Americans, I will say them. Only time, I think the reason why you're asking this question, because you're probably not the only person who thought this, but because they take so much offense to their pronouns that it can become offensive. Yeah. But if you're talking about being included with other groups in marginalized communities, you will get treated the same as other groups in marginalized communities. Especially when I'm speaking.
I like the way you did that one.
That's just what I'm not recognizing as any different individuals as groups.
Sometimes my words are like softball throws. Sometimes it's actual T-ball. It's right there for you. And my man just knocked it out.
Yeah, it's
apart.
Again, I like to think about a lot of stuff before I speak on it. Yes. And if one of the things if you're arguing is you wouldn't be treated like us, you're talking about inclusions and equality as well as being recognized as individuals. Right. You will get treated from me just as much as anybody. Like I said, I am not against their cause. I think they're technically correct. I think you're a group of elitists, not to say like you think you're better than everybody, but oftentimes elitists perceive the world in one way and they're trying to make everybody catch up or be on my page. Right. So I think that's what they're doing now. And that's what creates the rift and confusion, because again, prescriptive definitions of language is a thing. Yeah. And that's what they're arguing to justify their cause. Yeah. The world, unfortunately, doesn't speak in that way. So it's a lot of catch up. Like I said, a perfect example is literally. Yeah. It is. They literally try to. See what I did there? They literally changed the definition to try to catch up. Yeah. I am not a proponent of that. If gender and sex have always, from as far as especially as English language has been, defined in two ways. One's a behavior, one's a biology. Let that rock. You're right. You're right. Take that. But the issue is now, I think most of their cause is being diluted, polluted, corrupted because they're trying to impose, not trying to educate, not trying to sit down and have a conversation about it.
The best way to be is to be. Like, that's not even like a suggestion. I'm just saying, because for me being different, I just am. So therefore, I'm not an imposing force on anyone else other than Jace, my son. Because I still can't even force him to do anything. Like, I realize that. I just try
provide
to influence
resistance,
and guide him and be like, all right, I'm the example as much as I can, son. You know, I'm still trying, still working on it. But as far as we can tell, we're doing the right thing. Nonetheless, back to the original point with the all-male netball team.
Yeah,
my thing is,
I don't think it was too far of a tangent. I think this literally is product of that.
I'm just bringing the full circle. That's all.
Yeah,
just so
I
we
got
can tie it up.
I got you.
I appreciate the video mainly because of how it kind of vibrate, man. Anyway, it kind of gave some chink in the armor of the lady that was from the association and whatnot, right? Especially when she was saying that these men need to go through what we went through to get to this playing field.
What does that mean?
Dang. What I'm taking from what she's saying is you haven't burned bras, you haven't stood protesting, you haven't, put the back work into actually developing this league, and we haven't been advertising it as just a female thing. And matter of fact, my next point is, why didn't they just say this is an all-female league? That's it. Nobody else allowed. Because then we're not inclusive.
The LGBTQ plus may take offense to such a claim.
But nonetheless.
I think they were potentially trying to attack the NBA and the WNBA for doing the same. I think because last year Shaq had said something like, they were talking about the WNBA ratings in relation to the NBA ratings, right, where
and pay.
The ratings are nowhere nearly as good, right? And I think most of the people who watch the WNBA are actually men. So and Shaq was like, all right, to make it more entertaining, why don't you just lower the rim so you get more dunks? And he was talking to Candace Parker about this, and I think the internet took it up by storm for just a little bit, but it kind of died down.
Definitely, it's a good idea. But it won't happen.
It's just
because their pride is gonna.
Again, you're talking about literally. I don't know no female hooper who says
they already did the ball being smaller.
Yeah, bro. Like just you're equal. You're equal but different, and this is the inevitable truth. You are always equal but different than folks.
See, that ideology is difficult to swallow for some people because it still feels like as though you're speaking as though I'm superior. Oh, you're a man, you're still superior in such ways, but that's not what we're trying to say. Relationships are complementary, not any way other than the fact that we should be fitting together to make a unit stronger, our unit stronger, our bond stronger, rather than I'm this way, you're that way. Now let's play along. Let's make love, darling. No, we have to find some way to make some concessions. Like, I need to be able to give a little as far as how much makeup my woman wears. That's something that I used to be really a stickler on. I used to really dislike a lot of makeup.
I still dislike it.
But now I'm just like, hey, if that's what enriches and makes you feel better as a person, who am I to tell you not to do that? And on top of that, I met you with the makeup. So
if you meddle like that, that's tough.
I can't make noise about it. As well as me, on the other hand, I make sure these women know ahead of time. I watch a lot of kung fu, MMA, and anime.
Put yourself on the table.
Just make sure this is what Saturday night's gonna look like. UFC, you've got my vote. Bellator, holla.
Oh, goodness gracious.
One championship, love you guys. Now, one championship got some boys now. They got there banging. Anyway, we're gonna watch some highlights of those later. Anyway, let's wrap this up, man.
Yeah, this one
This is a good one. This is a good one. Please comment. Please let us know how you feel. Please include us in the universal knowledge that we're so.
I'm definitely trying to get.
We're seeking it. 100%. I want to know how to speak to this point, to this taboo correctly, And yes, I will say it for Henry. I want to speak correct. I want to make sure that I am thorough in my conversation.
The notion of saying speaking correctly implies censorship. I don't like, you don't censor language. I don't care who you are, where you're from. That is Nazism. That is communism. I do not play that.
I hear you.
I'm not a fan of that. Burning. No, we don't play that. It's different to say you speak respectfully. If that's what you mean by correctly, then we can rock with that. But the notion of what is correct and what is wrong, that needs to.
So then we have to do away with political correctness then.
100%.
Done.